messed it up there.
Did you?
Well, you know, at the end.
Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Such a good song. Such a good album.
Sure it is.
It is.
Sure is. I said sure it is. I meant to say sure is.
Front to back.
Let's start. Hold on. Sure is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
Great Measures.
We are going to introduce you to a band today called Fleshgod Apocalypse. They are from Italy. They are a symphonic, I would probably call them symphonic technical death metal band.
If you were to ask them, you'd say, Di dove sei? That means, where are you from?
Okay.
You say, Di Italy, or Di Roma, or Di Milano. I've been learning some Italian, actually.
So this song is called Minotaur, the Wrath of Poseidon. The Wrath of Poseidon is in parentheses.
Okay.
Is from an album from 2013 called Labyrinth. It's a concept album about the mythology and the stories around the labyrinth of Knossos. Am I saying that right? Knossos?
They may say kenosis.
Kenosis. Something. Who knows? I've got a little bit of background information on it. So something I thought you might find pretty cool. This is an interview that I found with the vocalist. The question was, is your musical style influenced by any Italian composers from the Baroque, classical, romantic, or 20th century musical periods? And he said, yes, more than anyone else, I would say Paganini, Vivaldi, and Rossini. So they're pretty heavily influenced by some of those.
I like Vivaldi. I like Rossini.
So the song Minotaur is, I'm sure you're familiar with this somewhat. I don't know. I haven't found anything other than Audie Murphy that I've been able to stump you with yet.
Oh, yeah. Not ever again. I know who that is now.
So yeah, I mean, there's not really much there. Lyrics are in English, so we can go through.
Just fixing to ask you that. You beat me to the question.
They are in English, so we can kind of delve into that later. But it's a really cool song. I kind of went back and forth, and I'm sure people are going to be screaming at me, but my introduction to Fleshgod Apocalypse was the album prior to this one called Agony, and it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. But I kind of thought this song was probably the best introduction. And we'll go back and we'll do some stuff from Agony. We'll do some more stuff from this album. We'll do some stuff from King. There's a lot of cool stuff.
We got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, they do a lot of cool stuff. But this is just kind of where I felt comfortable introducing you to the band, and that's just kind of where I stand with that.
Fleshgod Apocalypse.
Fleshgod Apocalypse.
Minotaur. No.
Minotaur, the Wrath of Poseidon.
The Wrath.
And the album is a concept album called Labyrinth.
You know who Poseidon is.
I'm aware of Poseidon.
What are you laughing about? Look, everybody knows who Poseidon is.
Most people know who.
Do they?
Come on, man.
I don't know what most people know.
I would assume most people know.
You know.
You ready?
Hold on. You're just assuming that most people know because you know, which is not you should.
If there's anybody watching this video,
because you're saying that you only have common folk knowledge, and I'm trying to say you should think more, positively and highly of yourself. That
this is
a
no judgment zone. Okay, no judgment. If you don't know who Poseidon is, leave a comment and let us know that you don't know who Poseidon is.
Okay,
right?
You're trying to prove a point to me.
Yeah.
That's judgmental.
How? All right, let's do this.
Yeah. Just for the future.
All right. Fleshgod Apocalypse, Minotaur, the Wrath of Poseidon.
Whom everybody knows.
Shut up.
Proceed, Richard.
Hang on. All right. All right, lay it on me.
What'd you think?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. They're not their later stuff as much, but let's see.
Are they all symphonic? Do they all have orchestral stuff behind them?
Yeah. So they have a guy on the keys who kind of does all the he does all the orchestral arrangements. Not all of them, but he does a majority of the orchestral arrangements. Like a lot of that stuff, the choir, the strings, the piano, obviously, is all him done on keys. Yeah, but they do have like, I know there's a few songs on this album where they bring in like guest musicians and they do some cello stuff and like they actually.
That's obviously so cool.
Yeah.
Whenever you put the orchestra and even the choir behind. I know we saw that with Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah. The biggest knock I have on this album in particular is the production. It's very muffled.
Yeah.
It's very muddy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wish I could hear better. I mean, obviously when the instruments from the band go away and you have the cellos and stuff there for a second. I mean, you can tell. But yeah, it's hard to decipher, especially, I think at one point I was hearing the guitars come through my right ear. There wasn't much of that panning.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
To sort of separate.
Yeah, that's always been my only real issue with this album is the it's just muddy. Like it's just
It's like it's all right up the middle.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean.
the Beatles used to do that. The Beatles would have, they'd put the drums and the guitar. That's why if you listen to the Beatles and you only have one headphone in, you'll only hear the vocal and the piano or something. Mm-hmm. And they go really wide, which is kind of cool. I mean, whenever you're mixing stuff down, if you can move something, you know, the bass over here just a little bit off center, you know, a little bit more here. Of course, Jimi Hendrix would make these things move. If you can hear things better. Mm-hmm. You just can if you put the guitars a little bit over here and whatever. But and I don't know if they had everything going right in the middle, but it sounds like it. Muddy. But and the sound of the choir with the don't, you know, and I mean that sound, the meter by which they were playing the don't sounds really what is it?
I can hear
Metallica.
Oh yeah, the No Leaf Clover.
Yeah, it has that. Which it's sort of Star Wars too, right?
Sure. Well, there's another passage of that interview that I was reading in another question where they get to talking more about the modern composers, and he mentions Zimmer, John Williams, and Hans Zimmer. And he mentions like 2 or 3 others that they kind of took influence from for this one too, as well. And that's kind of, I think that was the follow-up question was like, yes, we did some...
Elfman?
Yes, he was one of them. Yes, we took some classical Baroque style stuff from these people, but this was more modern composer.
Cinematic. It sounds cinematic. Mm-hmm. And just that whole... It's really Beethoven. That, you know, Beethoven does the whole... just that do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
Those notes, that kind of stuff. 4 notes. I mean, that's Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. That's Star Wars. Dun, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And so they I don't know. But that's just big. It just has a big...
Yeah.
Beethoven was just the first one to drop that. Whenever he dropped, you know.
The Fifth Symphony.
Just people. Have you seen that thing on... Have you seen that thing? I saw this on Instagram where these dudes, it's like they were riding in a car. It was the same dude. Have you seen it? They all got on the wigs. And Beethoven just dropped it in there. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, they're going crazy. Yeah, I have seen that.
Pretty good. Shout out to whoever that dude is.
Yeah.
But I don't. I won't get there yet.
Go for it.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So, well, no. Okay, fine. I will.
All right, lay it on us. I know.
It's throughout the whole song.
I know.
But I will say,
the constant double bass.
I will say this though.
Double kick.
I did notice in this song how they'll, and I mean, it wasn't that I would be ignorant to that this is something that you could do, but I hadn't noticed it in other music so much. It's usually the beat going on, and then they double time it, or they whatever, you know, they just but this guy was
he's a monster.
You know, and he would do that in success. You know, I noticed that, and so I can appreciate that. I understand that. I mean, it's a difficult thing.
I don't know what it's going to take
to do
to get you on board.
It's because of the space. It's because of the space.
Because of the lack of space.
Yeah. Because when it comes to drums, for me, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? So
what's the thing? The space?
Imagine if so whenever I think about if I'm writing a song in a band or something, I'd like to try to imagine that I'm in the crowd listening, and the next song comes on, what would be badass to me? All right, so in my mind, a drum beat just starting, just doom, doom, da, doom, 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 right? That's always like, yeah.
Okay.
Or a bass going doom,
Yeah.
doom, whatever, or the bass and the drum together.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole thing that makes that appealing to me is just the separation, the space in between the doom, da, you know? So imagine if a song if you go see a band and whatever, and the song starts, and the guy on the drums, so we've already established that it's cool for the drum beat to start. There's so many songs start off with just a drum beat, right? And it's cool. Most of them you can tell what they are. I mean, that's how, even though it's sparse, there's just one instrument, it's not tonal. I mean, it is tonal when Danny Carey does it, and some other people when they tune their drums. All I'm saying is, it's not a chord generally. So, but you still might know the song, you know? Imagine somebody comes out and they start off that way. Now, initially that would sound cool. I think that's a cool idea because it's drums. But it's so much going on. I guess it's my same argument sometimes as hearing guitar solos that are just.
So let me detour you just a second.
As if I need help doing that.
The next time we do a song that I know is going to have that in it, I'm going to try to remember to remind you to try to exclude the lower half of the drummer's body and just focus on the upper half.
Now I do that, and I did that. I do that anyway. I do that anyway. I've told you this before, where I love the sound of the snare and what they're doing. I mean, this guy's using splashes all over the place.
Yeah, he's a cymbal machine.
And I like that. I think sometimes too much. I mean, too much of anything. You know, we're drug addicts.
Yeah.
So isn't that the first lesson that you learn? Just too much of anything.
Recovering drug addict.
Recovering.
5 years for me 2 days ago.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah,
Thanks.
You didn't put it on a billboard or anything. So.
No, I didn't.
And I was actually thinking about that today.
Yeah.
Because we went into treatment around the start.
We're filming this on the, July 26th is my sobriety day.
Well, congratulations. How many years?
5 years.
Just yesterday, we were in rehab together.
I know.
Causing a ruckus.
Anyways, speaking of detours.
Too much, yeah. Too much. So, I mean, I was focused on as much of the music as I could be focused on. It was hard to pick out what the guitars were doing a lot of the time when everything was kind of during what I assumed to be the chorus, the Kill the King part, maybe. When the beat lets up and the choir comes in and but then he's still. It's just. There's no. It's difficult. It's just difficult.
I know. We're gonna get you there at some point.
I don't know. To get in the pace of the song.
I think it's gonna take.
It takes the pace out. I
think it's gonna take like seeing it live.
You think so?
I think so. It may not. It may not be the cure for you. But,
I'm not doubting that.
I think we're gonna have to. I don't know. I got to do some research. We might take you to Furnace Fest or something, and I think that's September or October in Birmingham.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Furnace Fest?
Yeah, it's at the Sloss Furnaces.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? We'll talk about that some other time.
Anyway, but all right. So the lyrical subject matter, it's always cool. I like Greek mythology stuff.
Sure.
It's a song about frustration. It's a song about isolation. I understand that.
Okay.
Well, everybody does, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you feel the Minotaur didn't ask to be born. He was a half bull, half human, eating people creature whose horrible king father is why they're saying kill the king. He's basically a prince, throws him in the labyrinth, and then actually feeds him by sentencing people to try to get through the labyrinth. And you can't get through the labyrinth. The Minotaur's in there.
Right. Good luck. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, he's gonna eat you.
This will be your last.
You don't know the labyrinth. He lives there. Yeah. I mean, the odds are not in your favor. But I like anything that way, and of course with the orchestral stuff and the choir stuff, it just bolsters that whole ancient sound, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You know, that's I talked about it in the beginning. I was debating, going back and forth on which album to start with, which song to start with, and that was why I decided to kind of start here instead of Agony, the album before this. And there's Oracle before that is awesome too. Like there's some really good stuff. But
Oracle, so they stay a lot in this ancient sort of.
Yeah, a lot of it's ancient stuff. The next one after, I believe after Labyrinth, is called King. They got some cool subject matter, you know, some stuff that I think you would appreciate. But Agony is the songs that I tend to lean towards on Agony is they're very like fast paced. I mean, but they're cool. I think you would be able to find some stuff in there too that you would like.
These guys are Italian.
Perugia, is that right? Perugia. Perugia. I maybe don't know.
Perugia, I think.
Yeah, they're from Italy.
Yeah. They quote Greek in this.
Yeah, that little spoken word part.
Just telling the story of how the Minotaur came into being.
Yeah.
Man, those stories are so. I mean, his mom opened herself up.
Yeah.
To the bull that was supposed to be killed as a sacrifice. Huh.
Wild.
Yeah, what was she thinking? She just, you know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Well.
Cool.
Your mom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
And we should say, Celine is singing at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Sang at the Olympics already.
Celine Dion did sing at the Olympics.
So holla.
Shout out to Celine Dion.
Shout out to Celine and Gojira.
Gojira played at the Olympics.
Yeah, sorry.
Big day for metal.
Yeah, didn't mean to. Yeah. Didn't want to interrupt you, but I had to.
No.
Great Measures.
That was Fleshgod Apocalypse, Minotaur, the Wrath of Poseidon. Why are you looking upside my head?
This would be looking upside your head.
Have a great day, everybody.